into tank top, right?
Yeah.
You see a lot of... We saw actually the solo kill of Cho'Gath onto Sion the other day.
I think what Liiv Sandbox draft brings to the table here, Valdez, is really nice objective control with the Aatrox. It's going to be hard to control Herald if you're on the side of Fredit BRION, and it also scales up very nicely. It's kind of a catch-all composition. Doesn't have any big glaring weaknesses, you know, minus the Aatrox is falling off later on.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes as we are going to hop on to the Rift for game number 1 here. Liiv Sandbox against Bro.
And it makes it hard to play around objectives when you just don't have that information. Speaking of, Effort's going to fight for it here.
Umpty's kind of alone over here. Finally, Delight and Lava will rotate on over. Effort zoned away by that bubble, and now he's going to take a huge amount of damage. Does not have that flash, but it is going to be smited down here by Umpty, and the rest of Liiv Sandbox is on the run. As nobody really wants to get in here, we're going to have another flash.
Sleep.
On top of another one, and he should just be dead. That's going to be the kill given over to Umpty, who can drop down this Rift Herald now if he'd like to in that fight compared to Fate's Victor. And it all comes down to the matchups that we have. So both big early objectives go the way of Bro, as Hoya is in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to be popped back, and now he's just going to feast the minion. He knows he's dead, so he's just going to try to delay as much time as possible. Does not have his feast anymore, so just being annoying.
This ends up being not terrible for Liiv Sandbox in the bottom lane. He's you know, a lot of extra farm here to Prince, but they're going to be able to take this pressure here and turn that into a Rift Herald in the mid lane. So
remember that Lava did this to Showmaker as well with his Zoe. So Lava's no stranger to making the mid lane look easy on the Zoe, right? And we are going to have Effort and Croco actually stick around and try to fight over this Scuttle Crab.
Not so sure about this one. With Zoe so close by, you have to be really careful. You get slept, and that is the end of the fight. So they do think better of it here. That he's there, so Umpty can actually take so much more of his jungle away. Lava's going to get mid-turret. I mean, this is just starting to look like a disaster here for Liiv Sandbox.
Oh, man. Prince is alone down here. He cleanses and he flashes, but it does not mean he will get away. 3-on-1 as Effort is desperately trying to clear vision in their jungle.
Really like the position here for Liiv Sandbox. Fate is going to have to teleport in, but otherwise it's a nice place to be. Uh-oh.
Oh, man. Prince, not sure about that positioning. He takes way too much damage before the fight even begins. And you can see the counter engage here. Lava will take a bunch of damage. Delight is getting zoned out on the flank. Good cask. Is going to knock Hoya in, and now Summit is just a menace. Do they have the damage to burn through him is really the question. Lava's not landing the stuff that he needs to land in these team fights. That's actually going to be Bro backing off of that Cloud Drake.
Effort.
Probably looking for some ward clearing and gets caught. It's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference in terms of vision control between these two teams. They didn't get the Cloud Soul, but they're still going to make that Baron play I was talking about here.
Yeah, you can easily do this, especially with Cho'Gath. You can also just turn off. They have the burst damage coming on in. That's going to be Lava picking up the kill. As Croco, he's pretty fast himself, but the flash will come in from Umpty, who maybe went a little bit too far. The rest of his team not really backing him up on that one. Lava had to run all the way around.
Or else you're just going to run out of room real fast in these team fights. Liiv Sandbox will collapse in.
All right, here we go. They get a really nice flank onto that backline, and Delight just gets blown up. Huge damage, though, from the Zoe, but it's not quite enough. They have to kite this one back, as that's a big rupture. Lava will be looking for the kill. Nice block there from Summit. Once again, Henna is just kind of, you know, he's a little bit zoned out. He's not really able to do consistent damage on the Tristana, and Lava's just trying to do it all by himself.
I mean, he's got to try, you know, in fights like this. They're not going to be able to take this Drake away, but this is starting to become very concerning.
Oh, okay, here we go. This is where Bro really turned it on. We got another flash here for Lava. He's going to come on forward, look for the bubble. He finds another one, misses actually on Prince, who cleanses away from that one. And look at the true shot barrage damage. Prince is just going 1v5 right now. He's gonna get knocked up, and Fate was able to kite back with him. And Bro just got baited so hard into that choke point and got dominated.
Yeah, I want to watch that fight again because Lava's target priority there was greedy. He wanted to actually get the sleep onto Prince so he could actually hit both, but he doesn't hit the follow-up Paddle Star, so he kills neither. of the Aatrox nor the Ezreal there in that exchange. The follow-up is real. Fate comes through and just does a ton of damage to help assist him. And, I mean, True Shot Barrage, very strong ability, as it turns out, but this is a kind of mistake that's going to cost you a Baron. And Fredit BRION, we're so ahead. But then let's see, watch this, because he actually looks for the sleep onto Prince and then misses the paddle. And if he actually hits that, he kills Prince, and then you could turn around and kill Summit. But Prince actually hits the True Shot Barrage, goes over the wall, and gets a double kill, and everything changes. If they had actually just slept the Aatrox and killed him instead, it's a much easier follow-up. So, unfortunately, Lava with very much looking for the greedy double there ends up with nothing. Or they need Lava to hit Paddle Stars like every time it's on cooldown, and he's not able to do it. Here we go, one more shot.
Ooh, Prince in the front line this time around. He's going to get a track repelled. They're trying desperately to dive onto him, but he survives for an insanely long period of time, and that's going to do it. They tried their very hardest to get onto that back line. But at the end of the day, it is Ezreal, and, you know, they used all that to try to get onto the backline carry the Ezreal. Fate and the rest of them are just sitting there doing insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just end here. They were looking to back and reset, but no, they decided that we've got enough of a wave here. We have an Ezreal who can actually do empowered shots on these turrets. I mean, they are going to go down. Fredit BRION in serious trouble here.
Yeah, they're just trying desperately. The feast goes off. Henna's trying to go 1v4 right now. He's not able to get that kill, and he just gets blasted in the face by the Ezreal. That's going to do it for game number 1, Liiv Sandbox.
Let's take a look and see where Zoe ends up. I mean, much out-damaged here by the Victor, but Prince, in the late game, he hit that 3-item power spike, and he was just... he played godlike, you know? And
yeah, he spent some of his gold, too, to buy a QSS, and he also had Cleanse.
Yep.
So there was nobody in the late game that could...
For some follow-ups, but this is very difficult to execute, the composition that Fredit BRION are running.
You know, we saw what can happen when Zoe kind of has to pull things through the mid-game. I think Prince not on the Ezreal. It'll be interesting to see what he can do on this Kai'Sa that has seen so much success. But, yeah, I don't mind it. I think that Liiv Sandbox go on to something very similar this time around. The Kai'Sa almost fitting even better in this composition.
We shall see as we head into game number 2 here. A lot on the line. You don't have the ability to wombo because the damage is so backloaded and there's such a strong front line. But right now we kind of are in a meta where you have one strong tank and then everyone else is engaging for the AD carry to do damage in the back and have an escape. Or an AP mid laner who's trying to do consistent damage like a Victor, getting popped. Here's a fight.
All right, they're just going to try to burst down Delight. He's getting a lot of value in there. And here comes the Galio. Not actually going to land a great taunt. He only gets onto the Krako onto the Olaf, but he's still alive. And actually, Liiv Sandbox are dominating this fight so hard because the engage there from Bro was pretty lackluster.
It's going to be pretty significant to have that on cooldown for every team fight. Or off cooldown, I should say. They're going to get this turret and maybe even more.
Yeah, they're looking for it as he is going to block the dash there. And he takes an insane amount of damage, but it just doesn't matter. Umti behind the play. Could not catch up to that one. Not expecting the Galio to get dove. Krako maybe even looking for more here. Not sure about this one. He's got Beast up. But with Faith here, actually, okay.
There's a mini wave crashing too. The timing is not great, but I think they can still get him.
They should be able to. I mean, Hecarim is nowhere to be seen, right? And the Cho'Gath is just so sad after that. So he's going to go down, and now immediately they just throw a teleport down on the bottom side.
Look at Witch!
Oh, man.
Not even close to death. No fear.
Yeah. Nice little Magnet Storm does come in, and Effort takes a lot of damage, and at least they'll trade 1 for 1. But that is not what you're looking for in response as Fredit BRION.
Oh, Summit's teleport was so well timed. He knew there was a threat there. Prince, the Killer Instinct, was so safe. And yeah, I mean, it's a trade, but you need more. What?
Guys.
And they are just making sure they can secure these kills and snowball these fights, close those gaps.
Oh.
Lava.
Thankfully, he dodged that trouble bubble, or else he was dead. Might still actually potentially scaling into the late game with a lot of frontline and the Tristana, but I think we're kind of past that point. Although, they do find 2 members in the top side. Effort, though, is going to survive, and so will Summit 1v3. We have the teleport coming in now from the Olaf, and it just doesn't matter. This Olaf is just doing insane amounts of damage in the backside of this team fight, and nobody can lock him down. Galio teleports in and doesn't get much done, and Effort even survives.
Here is going to turn this fight around.
No.
Like, Fate is killing Henna!
Dude, when Henna got
the best fight you're going to get is Fredit BRION. You have the Magnet Storm into the Hecarim ult, and that's one of those combos I was talking about that Fredit BRION need to pull off. As Henna, this is just him getting extremely destroyed. Like, I mean, extreme potential. I want to see that third game. And I thought their draft is hard to execute, but Liiv Sandbox have so much of a lead now.
Oh boy. Well, Galio's great. See if that helps him out here. We do have the flash coming in from Prince. He finds himself a lot of enemies, and in fact, he will actually die here. So, Liiv Sandbox, you know, trying to actually push the issue. The Magnet Storm comes in, but Delight didn't realize his team was down 11,000 gold. Still actually taking a decent trade at the end of the day as Bro.
Unfortunately, the execution was off, and now the execution is perfect for Fate, basically. He's playing this so extremely well, and now he has the money to back it up.
Oh, boy. Well, here we go. They're going to try once again. Delight's going to die before he can even engage, as Henna has to hop away. This is what I was talking about. It's so difficult to get away from Summit. At least he's got that blowback there from the Tristana, but everybody else died, so it doesn't really matter. They get the Aatrox, but that's a double kill now for Prince. Remember, he still exists in this game alongside the rest of his Fed teammates, and that's going to be Liiv Sandbox, just acing them here at 24 minutes.
There was some debate about whether or not to end the game or go for Baron. I saw a few on-the-way pings towards the Baron, but as it turns out, they're on the way towards the Nexus Valdez.
Yeah.
They have so much damage output. Anyone who respawns here, Delight, the only one who's left, gets blown up by Fate. He's slept, and he is just going to trot his way out. This was a very huge turnaround from the early game we had for Fredit BRION in Game 1. Game 2, dominant from start to finish. We said they needed an early lead. I mean, it was a rough start in the first game, but their comp was played so well. I'm very impressed with this Liiv Sandbox, and you know, the most exciting part of this team, I think, in recent weeks and in round 2 has been Summit, but with Fate kind of holding everything together, and Prince finally finding his strides here, again, albeit against a